PHLY Phillies show. We're back in the classroom today giving out grades for Matt Strahm, Gregory Soto, and Kolby Allard. Plus, Mr. Perfect, Mr. 48 for 48, Brad Lidge stops by. And we got some shenanigans to talk about in the World Series. It's not over yet. Join us on the PHLY Phillies show next. Hello and happy Wednesday, day before Halloween out there. This is the PHLY Phillies show. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington. We got JP Zapata in with us today. Hope everybody is having a great Wednesday. I got to drop a Peppa Pig off at school today, so my morning was pretty adorable.
Yeah.
They're so hyped for Halloween. It's really cool to see.
Definitely. And it's a fun time right now.
Yeah. And we, of course, are brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services. You can get started on your next project at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
I'm Peppa Pig.
Yeah, she's working on her snort.
Yeah, I got the whole intro down.
Yeah.
It was Daddy Pig.
It was really great. Yeah.
My brother George.
I'm a bit of an expert. Yeah.
I think it's entertaining.
It's not bad. In terms of kid shows. Frank Barber and Chris Slemmer and is that Jim Cook I see in the chat early. What up? Happy Wednesday to everybody. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to go back in the classroom and give out some grades for the bullpen. There's some shenanigans happening in the Bronx last night. And Mr. Perfect, Brad Lidge, stopped by and joined us late yesterday afternoon. So we'll check in with him and what he's got to say. Fascinating post-playing career. But Renee, let's get right into it. Let's get to the classroom and give out those season grades. We divvied it up so we're not just, beating people over the head with grades over and over. And today marks the start of the bullpen grades. Bullpen kind of went down in a flaming heap in the postseason.
No big deal.
But this is a season-long grade.
Yeah.
I don't want to judge a Matt Strahm off of one or two failure innings in the postseason when they're most important. But today we're going to grade Matt Strahm, Kolby Allard, and Mr. Don't have to worry about him no more, Gregory Soto. So where would you like to start today?
Well, I always like to start with the weaker ones, but you always like to start with the better ones. So, yeah, I was going to say, but I feel like you always like to start with the better guys. Let's get Kolby Allard out the way, because when you look at Kolby Allard's season, we didn't expect much from him, and statistically, 7 games played this season, was 2-0 with a 5 flat ERA, a .2 WAR, pitched just 27 innings, had 23 strikeouts with a 1.556 WHIP, and he is eligible for arbitration. And for Kolby Allard, he's one of those guys, much like Tyler Phillips. The 27-year-old didn't get obviously a lot of opportunity. But boy, oh boy, when he did, he gave you some memorable moments, and not all memorable in a good way. Now, Kolby Allard, we saw him in a bullpen role. We saw him in a starting pitching role. So we have elected to have him be with the bullpen for today's show in terms of our grades. But he's someone that you didn't expect to give you much, didn't have high expectation at all. It was just, how can this youngster step into the fold? What is he going to look like? What's his production going to look like? And unfortunately, you saw him he struggled. His last outing, September 24th, was when he was able to throw 4 innings. And in that stretch, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. He gave up, a lot of, 15 total runs on 34 hits in his 27 innings pitched. And as we look at that 5 flat ERA, I actually feel like it's kind of what you expect from Kolby Allard. It's a shame that the Phillies had to even go to him in the first place, given injuries to Taijuan Walker and Spencer Turnbull, and just trying to piece things together. So I don't know. I feel like my usual Professor Ice Queen self wants to actually err on the side of just a C. C for average. C for he wasn't great. He could have been worse. He was a guy that can only give you 2, 3, 4 innings, but I don't know that anybody expected anything more from Kolby Allard. I give him a C just because he was just okay. And with the 27 innings that he pitched, there's room for growth. There's room for improvement. And I think he gave you what you kind of expected. Like, was anybody expecting Kolby Allard to come out there and be a 6, 7 inning shutout guy? No. So I think just C, very average, very middle of the park. Did not want to see him. C for I didn't want to see him after September 24th. And I'm glad we didn't have to. But for Kolby Allard, just average.
Yeah, I gave him a C+. I would have preferred to have gone a Phillies baseball season without having to see, the Kolby Allard types and the guys that got called up because other people were hurt and what have you. A C+ I felt like is fair because I'm viewing him through that prism of he wasn't a guy you expected to contribute, kind of came up because he had to. Did decent on his Ks per 9 in terms of his career. Wasn't really counting on much. I thought he stepped up and served just fine in the role he counted in. 27 innings, 15 earned runs in 27 innings. Isn't ideal. 11 plus hits per 9. Not really ideal. But again, I don't really blame Kolby Allard for that. I don't think he's a guy that organizationally there's a lot of huge hopes for here. Can he be a low leverage lefty out of the pen for you going forward?
No.
Maybe. I mean, who knows if he has a good spring training, we'll see.
Maybe not.
Yeah, lefties are always needed. Fine. I have no ill will in my heart towards Kolby Allard. JP, any gut grades on old Kolby Allard there?
What's happening, guys? No, I mean I'm kind of along the lines of you guys.
Like C range.
I'll go C-. I mean, listen, we didn't expect to see him, right? I mean, no one really could take hold of that 5th spot. Yeah. We had some injuries there, but we do know. I feel like next year, if Kolby Allard, we face him in the playoffs with this current lineup, that's someone that we should definitely be scared of because he's kind of like that junk lefty, right? But not much to expect here. I'm going C-.
All right. So there's Kolby Allard. He averages out like a C. Let's move on from Kolby Allard because 27 innings doesn't really.
No, that's not worth talking about for you.
Nah, not really. All right, let's get to so we'll save Matt Strahm for last. We'll move on to Gregory Soto. Gets moved on to the Baltimore Orioles. 43 games played in 2024 for the Phillies. Exactly, he pitched 35 1/3 innings before getting moved. 2-4 on the year, 4.08 ERA. I just blanked out. My brain just shut off. 0.2 WAR, so he's just about average in terms of Major League Baseball. 35 innings, 44 strikeouts. 1.585 WHIP is horrible. And there's his numbers with Baltimore. Didn't do great for them down there either. He was a move that I graded through a fairly strict prism because he was one of your trade deadline additions last year. You gave up, some decent-ish players to go get a Gregory Soto. And I know Cody Clemens came in that deal too, but I viewed him as he was supposed to upgrade this team's bullpen. I gave him a D+. If you wanted to give him an F, I don't care. I'm not going to fight you on it. There really was some decent kind of expectations for him. He was a flamethrower from Detroit. You brought in that you thought was going to, really bolster the gas on this bullpen. And we're not talking farts. And they made him, he was weighted heavier on the grading scale because of that. A 1.5128 WHIP, 35 innings pitched, north of 4 ERA, D+. I can be talked into an F. He just kind of failed here as a trade deadline upgrade.
Well,
Professor Ice Cream laying the hammer.
Ice cream would be great.
I had some ice cream last night.
I'd love some. For Soto,
cookie dough. What was your favorite?
I love cookie dough ice cream, but I love a good cookies and cream. Give me the Oreo chunks. Yeah. Give me the chunks.
Yeah, cookies and cream is top 3 for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Black raspberry late in life.
Oh,
became a top 3 for me. Yeah.
You know what? I love a good sherbet.
I grew up as an orange sherbet.
Yeah, any kind of sherbet I'm good for.
And
I love simple ice creams. Don't give me all the fancy ice cream. Give me the children's ice cream. Give me vanilla with sprinkles. Give me with chocolate, strawberry, cookies and cream, or sherbet.
Well, ice cream talk on this Wednesday.
That sounds great. So for Soto, at 29 years old, for him to come in, as you mentioned, acquired last season, from the Detroit Tigers, and since being acquired from the Detroit Tigers, had a 4.42 ERA and 47 earned runs given up in 95 2/3 innings pitched with the Phillies, which was 109 strikeouts to 42 walks across his total 112 appearances. For the season, as you read those numbers, he was 2 for 4 with 2 saves. With that 4.08 ERA, and then also was someone that with 44 strikeouts and 20 walks in 43 outings before the trade deadline was not good. And Gregory Soto, that's why he got moved on from. They gave him a chance, didn't work out, moved on from him. And when you look, unfortunately, at last season to this season, he had a 4.62 ERA in his 69 games played last season with the Phillies. In 43 games this season, that 4.08 ERA. But as we talked about, the numbers of in a much smaller sample size weren't good at all in those 16 earned runs, 19 total runs given up. For him to be someone that you were taking a gamble on and just completely added nothing to the bullpen, I absolutely feel like he's a D-, which is why he's hit out the Dior. See you later, because
not Christian Dior. You guys proud of me for knowing Christian Dior?
No, I mean, who doesn't
Jamie's
know
bringing
Christian
all
Dior?
the dad jokes today, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, you're bringing all the dad jokes.
I don't get any credit for Dior.
No, I just feel like that's
Christian
like one
Dior,
that everybody
Dior.
knows.
Oh.
Who doesn't know Christian Dior?
I'm surprised I know it, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I think a pop
okay,
smoke.
well,
That Louis Vuitton might be the only 2 expensive things I know.
You don't know Fendi, Gucci, Prada?
Gucci. Fendi, that's Rihanna, right?
There's Fendi and there's Fenty.
Wow, I didn't even know that one.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Fendi?
I don't know.
Wait, is that a real thing?
You're asking me.
Yeah, there's Fendi. Fendi's a real thing.
Clearly, you and I are in different tax brackets here.
Fendi, but it's not. Fendi's not nearly as nice as Fenty. Obviously, it's not as expensive. Oh, actually, it is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a minute. Trivia for you. You know how much a Fendi bag, a small, simple, it's called a Simply Fendi mini brown bag. It's about this big.
$10,000.
How much?
$10,000.
Okay, it's not that expensive.
4,500.
Okay, wait.
2,200.
It's not that expensive. Like, y'all are way up there. Okay, we're getting warmer.
1,400.
It's $1,850, but this bag is about this big, and it's not that large. And it's almost $1,900. Look at this little bag.
Stupid.
Stupid. JP, I'll show you
For
too.
me to poop on.
Anyways, Gregory Soto, look at this little bag.
Do either of you know Comic the Insult Comic?
Look how little that bag is for $1,850.
For me to
Man, that's
poop
highway
on.
robbery. You know how much I can do with what I can do with $1,850.
All right, so what was your final
Their
grade?
strollers
D-?
are $37.50.
Oh
my gosh.
All right, JP, what's your Gregory Soto grade?
I already gave him a D-.
Yeah, D-,
for
D+.
D out the door.
What do you got, JP?
Can I get the bag over Gregory Soto? I'm going
got the
F.
bag.
He definitely got a bag.
Yeah, I'm going F with this one.
Oh, all right.
Super disappointing.
An F.
Spicy.
Yeah, dude, super disappointing.
Sizzle.
At least we got Clemens out of it. But yeah, dude, we gave up Matty V and Nick Maton for Gregory Soto. You kidding me? No, seriously, guys. Like, you talked about it. Like we knew he had the power, especially as a lefty, and you definitely love that in your bullpen.
Throws gas.
But I don't know what the heck happened here in Philly. Like, did he not like it here? Well, he's like the bat.
I don't know. He's actually worse in Baltimore, though.
Well, that is true. Maybe he's not an East Coast guy. Maybe that's what it is. But
hey, East Coast is the best coast.
All right, let's get to the good one. We have a good grade to give out today, and that is Matt Strahm.
Stromboli.
Here's the graphic. 66 games played in the year, 6-2 on the year, a sub-2 ERA at 1.87, a 2.5 WAR, 62 2/3 innings pitched, 79 Ks in those 62 innings. Woo! That's sexy. A .750 WHIP, which is just filthy. First All-Star of his career. I am giving Matt Strahm an A+. I am not letting an inning or an appearance of the postseason ruin a spectacular season's grade. You have him locked up next year for just like a mere $7.5 million, which is a great bargain for the Phillies. That 2.5 WAR is tremendous. A sub-2 ERA, the way below 1 WHIP, which is just filthy. Second best Ks per 9 of his career. Second lowest walks per 9 of his career. But really the lowest when you factor in kind of innings pitched. Just a tremendous year for Matt Strahm. I give him an A+, and I don't really have any hesitation there.
Wow. Impressive. Matt Strahm was solid. He's on my fantasy team, so shout out to him for getting me lots of fantasy points. When you look at these 66 games that he played in the regular season for Matt Strahm was fantastic. Obviously, throughout stretches, we know he had the scoreless streak. So in the month of April and May, didn't give up a single run in any of his outings in that stretch. So had 9 games in April, 13 in May, was perfect in that time, which we love to see. And then even when that broke in June, he only gave up 3 total runs in the month of June. Then July was a little bit rocky, as it was for everybody, as he gave up 6. He battled through the regular season. He had his moments, of course, of, looking human, because at some point, especially when you are continuing to come out in these high leverage situations, you're not always going to be able to have these scoreless showings. But his ERA did not change much from April and May. And then also you look at like August, September, he was under a 1 ERA for both of those months as well. It was June and July, a 3 and a 6 that he had in June and July. That were really the only areas that he struggled this season in terms of the regular season. And then come postseason time, we all know that him and the entire bullpen turned into pumpkins, and he was not great in the 3 games in this postseason that we saw from him. He finished with an 18 ERA because he had a 2 whip, and in his 2 innings pitched, he gave up, had just 1 K and gave up 4 runs on 4 hits. So for Matt Strahm, it's hard to give him an A+ because he wasn't perfect. So to me, A+ means like you had no issues. I didn't even give Zach Wheeler an A. Well, I did give Zach Wheeler an A+.
Zach Wheeler's definitely an A+.
Zach Wheeler's the only one that gets an A+. You have to be literally like perfect. Or near perfect.
I mean,
so
he was one of the top
I'm going to give him a
relievers.
solid, like a 94, 93, like an A-.
All right, JP, what do you got on Matt Strahm? So we're averaging out at an A.
I'll go A- with Matt Strahm. He's all of a sudden he became your top lefty coming out the bullpen.
Yeah.
For me, it was always Jose Alvarado, and now it's become Matt Strahm, and you can truly trust him. You nailed it, Jamie. Can't really kill him for the playoff game because overall he was great in the regular season. I mean, we saw there he had his first All-Star appearance as well. So I'm gonna give him an A- for the Stromboli.
I think because of the postseason and that's such a high leverage situation, you have to drop him from an A+. How are you still? I don't know how you're still giving him an A+.
Because 1 inning does not negate 62 innings. Okay, 2 innings does not negate 62.
That's his job, though.
I understand,
his job
but
is
like
to come
everybody
in as a high leverage guy and be able to help get you out of innings. And they did all fail. That's why they all lost points. Jeff, too, are going to get there in more days. Orion, Estevez, everybody lost some points because in the postseason, which is your time, you didn't do your job.
I understand.
I'm going to go.
I'm the hippy-dippy grader
I was
here.
teetering on an A or A-. I think I'm going to stick with my A- because I just feel like the postseason is such a big part. And as great as you were in the regular season, it's a whole season grade, and that does include the postseason, and I'm weighing that heavier. Bam.
Professor Ice Cream. God, I really got it on the mind.
It's Doug Peterson week. That's why.
What do we got here?
Oh my God!
Well, since you're talking about some sweets,
look at that.
Would you like some candy?
Oh,
I have a bag
I was
of
hoping
candy.
there was candy in there.
I have a bag of candy.
You too, sweet.
I gotta say, I bought the Halloween candy for the house like 3 weeks ago because I wanted to get good stuff that I like.
You already dove into it,
So I went with Take Fives and Nerd Gummy Clusters.
Ooh.
So this is
but
chocolate.
I've dipped into it.
I knew you did.
Not an outrageous amount, but enough that I got to run back out today.
Which is an outrageous amount. Clearly.
No, it's not. Like, Addie saw the bowl, and if it was an outrageous amount, she would have said something. And she just kind of glanced at it as I took another one. And gave me that eye, and I was like, "Yeah, I know, I gotta get more."
Do you get trick-or-treaters in your
Sweet Tooth more, Mr.
Snickers,
Cabby.
please.
Snickers.
Snickers is one of my all-time.
Do you want the caramel Reese's?
No, I'm a Snickers
This will be right
man.
in time for your ad read.
All right, well, let's take a minute while we eat some candy and tell you about some of our friends here at PHLY. And that is our friends over at Game Time. What time is it? Game Time. I've used Game Time a ton. I talked about my experience this summer out at Wrigley Field and how clutch the seat view was, because, you know, sometimes with those old stadiums, your sight lines and pillars and all that, and you got the best. So for baseball, it's a must, because baseball to me is the weirdest sightline stadium, so you can get image of your seat views. With their all-in pricing, it's great. You're not going to get hit over the head with some late fee you didn't realize late. They're going to give you the price that you're going to pay all in right from the start, so you know exactly how to budget it. I've used it for concerts. I've used it for events for my kids downtown. I've gone to some comedy shows with buddies with Game Time. So whether it's sports, theater, music, comedy, live podcast events, whatever, Game Time has got you covered. They got curated deals to help you find the best price on great seats. They got super deals, seat views, and the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. If you want to go to Eagles Jaguars this weekend, make sure you're using the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Game time. And it's also time for you to start considering better options for getting your carpets and flooring in your house. And you can do that with our friends over at Empire Today. This has a nice bobble to it. With Empire Today, you get the convenience of being able to shop at home. They have their virtual floor designer, which allows you to be able to, while you're sitting in your home in the comforts of your house, you can snap a picture of whichever room you're looking to get new flooring in and actually get a chance to see what that carpet, what that hardwood floor, what that linoleum is going to look like in your space. And not only do you get the convenience of shopping at home, with Empire Today, they want to make sure they're minimizing all these stressors of finding correct flooring. There are thousands of options to choose from. It can be overwhelming at times, and they pride themselves on making sure to give you great customer support and also making sure to minimize all the stresses and best they can of finding that correct flooring. So they'll work closely with you to provide you with an opportunity to be able to figure out which flooring makes most sense. They also have quick and professional installation. They've got the right products for your needs and a price match guarantee. So with Empire Today, they are the best place to get new flooring. And they also are going to make sure that they're helping you out from start to finish throughout the entire project. So with that, you get other benefits when you have an opportunity to work with Empire Today, including the chance to schedule a free in-home estimate today. That's right. All listeners also get a chance to get a $350 discount when you use the promo code PHLY. Restrictions do apply. So head on over to empiretoday.com/PHLY for more details to get started with our friends over at Empire Today. JP, would you like some candy?
All right. So yesterday we had the opportunity to check in and talk to one of the greats in Phillies folklore legend, Mr. Perfect, Brad Lidge. There's no 2008 title if there's no Brad Lidge. He went perfect in the playoffs and the regular season to cap off a spectacular year. We were able to catch up with Brad yesterday, so let's take a listen to the interview with Brad. Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast, and honored to be joined by Mr. Perfect. You don't mind if I call you that, do you? 48 for 48, Brad, is something I'll never forget in my mind as a Phillies fan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Well, it's great to be here, and I'm certainly never going to forget that season myself. So it's cool to reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, and today is the 16th anniversary, and we'll talk about why you're here in a second. But the 16th anniversary of you on your knees in front of the mound at Citizens Bank Park and the team piling on top of you. Awesome. Just an awesome memory. What was your recollection of that day and just everything? What were the emotions, all of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I guess I can't believe it's been 16 years.
I know.
That quickly. But, I think, as the years go on and you realize what a privilege it was to be on a team like the 2008 Phillies. And look, I mean, we know as Phillies fans how hard it is, to win these things. I think all baseball fans recognize that. It's especially in this wild card era, it's not easy. But, I think back to 08, again, I just feel extremely fortunate to have played with some of the highest caliber human beings and toughest players that this game has known and this city has known. And, I had the privilege of being able to rely on those guys and to have my defense back me up all year until that final game and that final out. And, that was an experience unlike any other, that's for sure. And, I've always said this, being on the bottom of a pile of, 25 dudes, all 200 plus pounds, and I'm still screaming for joy, even though I can't breathe. So it's the greatest. It's what you dream about when you're a kid. So it's, you just can't ever beat that feeling.
Yeah, you and the rest of that team are immortalized forever. But why you're here today is because we have a really cool trading card from our man Jordan Spector, which is on display behind you. You're actually right now in the process of wearing some finger-proofless gloves when you're signing all of these autographs. But you can get your hands on this awesome trading card. We've done some before with Brian Dawkins and Brandon Graham here at the station, and we're so pumped to promote this again. It's the Brad Lidge immortalized trading card. You can get it at spectorsportsart.com, and each one of these limited edition trading cards is a custom collector item. It comes in an awesome box. Some are going to be signed by you. Some are going to be signed by you and Chooch. They have a lot to do with the numbers play. It's got to be a pretty cool moment to get immortalized like this on a card forever.
Well, it really is. I mean, a couple things, come to my mind when I jumped into this project. But first of all, Jordan's an incredible artist. He's done this before, and it's really cool for me to be able to be a part of something like this with him. So it's an honor for me, and then to see, kind of the steps of production along the way, to see how it kind of played out, to see his art. Made me super proud, and like I said, I'm just I'm very excited. Every little step along the way kind of had this feeling for me of these different emotions of being like nostalgia, collecting cards as a kid, and then kind of seeing what's going on here, and all the different variations that start to come out. It's really cool, and the presentation is incredible, as you talked about. I mean, I don't know. I'll kind of try and show you the box a little bit here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Really fantastic. And then, what's super cool. So you get, card boxes these days. With this one, you open it up and you get this incredible card inside. And actually, this is one of the base versions, believe it or not. And, we've been able to sign a few. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. And, you get these kind of chase cards and these different autographs. And one of the coolest things for me, I think, was being able to reach back into my archive and my collection personally. I had balls from 2008, from the games that I finished in 2008. Cool. And, I have one or two that are like, I'm not touching these balls. But then there's some other ones that are very valuable to me. But I was like, these are sitting alongside some other things. And wouldn't it be cool? Because, a lot of these cards nowadays, they'll cut out little pieces of jerseys or baseballs, but they're not super significant or whatever. But I was like, wouldn't it be cool? Because, this is kind of for the fans to be able to have something from 2008. So wouldn't it be cool if we actually took some of those baseballs themselves, even the ones I wrote on, and right after the games, and put this is from, the NLDS or the NLCS, and put those baseball pieces on the cards. So now you're getting something, potentially in that box that's for me. Look, I love history. I love artifacts and stuff like that. This kind of felt like we were putting an artifact of history on a card, and so it's just a super cool way of doing it. Pretty unique experience, I think, overall. And like I said, it's just been really exciting to do.
Yeah, some really cool stuff. There's going to be 2008 cards in total. No coincidence, the year you guys won. There's going to be 54 autographed by you and 98 autographed by you and Chooch. A lot of cool plays on numbers here. And my favorite part of it in the packaging, the quote inside, no sign from Chooch. Everybody knows what's coming. Nobody's going to touch this slider. Can you talk about you and Chooch's relationship? Because, I had Jonathan Papelbon on the show a few months back, and I said, who was your favorite former teammate? And he was like, Chooch. He's like, that's my Panamanian man, my farmer. Can you talk about the special relationship Chooch had with his pitchers?
Yeah, Chooch was amazing. And to be totally honest, I mean, he wasn't always a catcher, right? So when he actually became a catcher for the Phillies, he just had this mindset that this was going to be the most important thing anybody does on the field, and whatever the pitcher does that particular day is entirely his responsibility. Of course, it's not. It's both of us working together. But he could have a day where he went 4 for 4 with a home run. But if we gave up a bunch of runs, he'd be sitting in the clubhouse afterward, and he would be pissed off. And I love that about Chooch, because he really wanted his pitchers to succeed. He wanted the Phillies to succeed. He wanted to win. And I just haven't seen the type of work ethic that he had. I just haven't seen that, like, in the game. Obviously, there's a lot of dudes that work really hard, but Chooch was on a whole nother level. His care for the team and for the pitchers was on a whole nother level. So, obviously, as a pitching staff, we all feel that. But to have that kind of special relationship with him at the end of games where, we're always synced up. We know what's coming. And, that last pitch, it was exactly that. Like I kind of knew. And actually we had talked on the mound before Hinske came up, and we just kind of had this thought back and forth. And we were like, how many sliders should we throw? It was just keep throwing it, whatever it takes. Like this is, however many it's going to take in a row, we're going to keep going to it because we know that we can get him out with this pitch if I execute. And, and so he didn't even have to put down the sign. It was not necessary. We knew what to do.
That's awesome. So how difficult was that for you with the 2-day wait? I mean, the game starts on the 27th. It finishes on the 29th, the delay, all of that. How hard is that? Because bullpen is such a mental position, right? Like, how did you stay? Because us as fans, like, that was anxiety inducing just waiting for the game. I can't imagine playing in the game. What was that down period like for you?
I absolutely hated it. It was awful. It's one of those deals where you're sitting on being that close to being potentially a World Series champion, but you can't let your mind get ahead of you. And, you have to be able to stay in the moment, execute pitch by pitch, and that's fine on that given night. But then when the game's called and you got to wait until the next day, you're not sleeping. And then when you have to wait again till the next day after that, I mean, it was really, really hard to be kind of, to stay locked in that moment. I didn't sleep well. I was probably super short at home with my wife. I'm sure of it, just wanted to stay focused and locked in. But I think to a man, we all had that understanding to stay dialed in and keep the energy up. And yeah, it really does take a lot of mental energy to stay focused and kind of locked in through that time period until you get your opportunity to pitch.
So Brad, with today's game, it's not. There are closers, and the guy I'm going to bring up is Emmanuel Clase, but it's a lot of high leverage, lower leverage, using guys in different innings. When you see a guy like Emmanuel Clase go in a game for the Guardians in a spot where he hasn't inherited any base runners all year, but he absolutely dominated the baseball season. Perfect. Was amazing. I personally can't blame the manager for thinking that Emmanuel Clase is going to go out there and get outs, because I've seen him be Superman. How do you kind of view today's bullpen usage and all of that?
Well, it's tough. And look, I've been there. I was in Houston when I had a couple bad outings as a closer. I remember that after having great seasons. And so it's just part of the nature of the beast. When you're closing, it's a roller coaster ride. I mean, that's the role of the closer, and hopefully when everything's on the line, you're going to come through. But it's never easy. And, sometimes you get kind of in these sequences where you do the same things over and over, and they worked in the regular season. But in the postseason, you might have to slightly change things. And I think that's one of the difficult things for relievers nowadays, because we get so much data. Those guys are looking at, this is his swing path, this is the pitch I have to throw, and this is the spot I got to throw it. And I'm going to do it over and over until it works. But I think we kind of forget that, the nature of people being people, like sometimes you just have to get in there. And I would say this nowadays, I think we're a little too robotic, as relievers, as a fraternity out there, just relying on information to do what you're supposed to do instead of just getting out there and pitching. Sometimes you can read a swing and say, you know what, today this pitch isn't going to work, and go to plan B. And I think that if guys, it's tough, like I said, because there's so much data and numbers shoved at guys now to execute based on that. But I think guys need to remember, to go out there and pitch. I mean, it can be a lot of fun too. It doesn't have to be so robotic.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know Brad's post-playing career, one of the most fascinating. You've become an archaeologist. And Brad, obviously it takes a high intellect. It's something you've always been curious in. I got to ask you, though, what's your white whale? What's the thing you're hoping to find out there one day that will make your post-playing career an absolute home run?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I've been asked that a few times myself. I mean, I guess it kind of depends on, where I'm excavating. Like I've been mostly in Italy, doing the Italian peninsula for a while. Wow. You're not likely to find the Holy Grail there. So I don't know, I think for me, so I've been doing this area in Italy, Tuscany, and the people that Tuscany is named after are the Etruscans. They were there before the Romans. and we don't really know their language, that well, really at all. We have some inscriptions and different things and letter forms, and we don't really know the language. So I guess maybe because I'm doing that, like some kind of Rosetta Stone for the ancient Etruscans would be pretty cool. But it's kind of site dependent. Finding some tombs, I was able to do that last February. Find some kind of a new necropolis, city of the dead there, and so it's pretty cool. I mean, I've absolutely loved it. I love the adventure part of it. I love publishing, that part of it too. So it all kind of goes with it. And for me, it definitely keeps me occupied and busy and gives me, I think, a lot of purpose in baseball. I still watch don't get me wrong, I still watch baseball every single day. I promise you I'm watching all the games of the World Series, but going alongside of that, archaeology has been a blast.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about technology compared to 2008 is you can have a baseball game in your hand anywhere you travel in the world now, Brad. So let's be honest, we're in the trust tree here. What's the bigger rush, closing out a baseball game or finding an unknown tomb of ancient civilizations? What's better? You can be honest.
Well, so finding that kind of unknown tomb is very exciting, and there's definitely adrenaline, and it's really cool. But there is nothing that compares to closing out a game in 2008 for the Phillies in the World Series. Or really, man, when I look back, any game, the adrenaline you get, the nerves and everything that comes with it, it's a blast. And the camaraderie among archaeologists is solid. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like guys, after games. So everything's a little bit different. It's probably a little bit better that it's like that nowadays for me. But I miss baseball a ton. I miss being on the airplanes with guys. And, I think when you're retiring, you're trying to find something that works for you, something that keeps your interest and everything else. And, fortunately for me over the last decade now, I've been able to put that time and energy into archaeology, and I've loved doing it.
That's awesome. Well, Brad, maybe you'll take one of these awesome Jordan Spector cards and immortalize it by burying it somewhere so another ancient civilization can find one.
Right. Yeah, that's
that
right.
Is beautiful, man. So again, you can head to SpectorSportsArt.com, and Brad's holding up one of the cards. Some are going to be autographed by him. Some are going to be by him and Chooch. It's a magnetic case. The packaging is awesome, and it would be an absolute home run Christmas or holiday gift for any Phillies fan in your life. Brad, it's always great to see you and catch up with you. It looks like you're doing great. And thank you again for 2008. That was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate being on with you and talking about it a little bit. And I'm super excited about this, and very, very fortunate to work with Jordan on this project. It's been great, and I really just hope that the Phillies fans and everybody else out there that wants one of these is able to get something that kind of lights up their Christmas or whatever else it might be, because these are a pretty unique and pretty cool item.
Very, very cool stuff. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Perfect, Mr. 48 for 48 that year, 41 for 41 in the regular season. But Brad Lidge, thanks for joining the show. We'll see you soon.
All right, take care. Thanks.
All right, there he is, Brad Lidge. He is he's the man. Always been a gentleman, always been one of the best interviews in terms of grabbing a Philly player. Smart dude, clearly, as an archaeologist now. I did want to get into if he had a satchel and a whip like Indiana. That came standard issue, but I figured,
I feel like
let's just sell some cards. But the cards are awesome. You can, if you heard it in the interview, Jordan Spector has done these with Brian Dawkins and Brandon Graham. Kind of immortalizes these Philly sports legends, and really cool stuff. Him and Chooch signed some. Part of the baseballs that he had in his personal collection are part of the cards. Really, really awesome stuff. So again, if you wanted to inquire and get the Phillies fan in your life a card like that for the holidays, you can visit SpectorSportsArt.com to get those cards, and they're awesome.
And just a heads up, we'll also put a description in the links as well.
Oh,
so
sweet.
People can check
a link in the YouTube page as well there for everybody in here. K-Red and Ray and Larry's Backyard Barbecue and everybody else. So if you want to get one, pretty cool. All right, let's take a moment and tell you about some more friends of ours.
And I'll tell you about let me tell you about our friends over at Shady Rays, because when you want to get ready for all the seasons, especially the season ahead, you can do that with quality shades built to last. With our friends at Shady Rays, they have you covered with these premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. And there are a lot of benefits to Shady Rays. As an independent sunglasses company, they have hundreds of options to choose from. And what I like about it is all of their Shady Rays shades that they have different types of designs, colors. They're all very sleek, which we love, which makes them a lot more durable. And it just makes them, especially for us especially for ladies, but anybody that deals with the sunglasses getting caught up in your hair or annoying you when they hurt your nose after a while. It's not the case with Shady Rays. Their sleek frames and designs make it great, easy, and make them, again, very durable. Plus, they have so many different options to choose from that you can have different options to pair with whichever outfits, whichever team you're supporting, whichever event you're doing. And if you don't believe me, believe the fact they have been rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's right. 300,000 people have said they also enjoy rocking some Shady Rays. So with Shady Rays today, with all their hundreds of options, they also provide you with the support, knowing that you have the return worry-free. Anytime you lose them, break them, if you want to just exchange them, you can always get a new pair of Shady Rays. So as you are tuned in today, no, there's no risk when you shop. You're going to get a great price, and you're going to get a great pair to rock on your face. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. So you can head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY to get 35% off of your polarized sunglasses. Try them for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, shadyrays.com. Use that code PHLY. Get yourself a pair of some durable, premium, polarized Shady Rays.
I was actually on the website right now looking because I need a new pair. But let me tell you about another friend of ours. The Phillies failed to get a ring, but that doesn't mean that you have to. You can get to Golden Nugget Jewelers in downtown Philadelphia and get yourself a ring before the Phillies. Hell, Golden Nugget might even custom make you a Phillies ring if you really want. But, the Phillies failed to get theirs, but you can get yours at Golden Nugget Jewelers on the corner of 8th and Chestnut, right down there in downtown Philly. They've been family owned and operated and in business since 1987. And if you're getting engaged, they have a wide assortment of rings and wedding bands to fit anyone's style. Receive a final cleaning and written appraisal with every engagement ring purpose. And it's not just wedding jewelry. The holidays are coming up. So find that person in your life, the perfect holiday gift this holiday season at Golden Nugget Jewelers. You can find watches, diamond necklaces, diamond bracelets, earrings, and more. You deserve an expert and the best price in Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Head on over to goldennuggetjewelers.com to learn more. All right, this is the PHLY Phillies show brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services. To get started on your next project, visit aceHardwareHomeservices.com. Really fun catching up with Brad Lidge. Very cool that he's an archaeologist. What a cool job. Go around digging for ancient civilizations and buried tunnels and
I would
cities.
love to do that.
It sounds so cool.
I think the coolest thing that's interviews like that, and I'm glad you had a chance to catch up with Brad, is when you have an opportunity to learn about life after sports, you realize, and it reminds you just how young a lot of these athletes are when they retire. I know in the chat, you guys were saying, a number of you were saying how Brad Lidge looks like he could still suit up. He still looks like he can play. How the 08 guys haven't really aged. And when you look at Brad Lidge and the big piece and you go all the way through Chase Utley, different guys, they still look like they can go out there and play because you're in your 30s, 40s, depending on when you retire, of course. And also you still are now in that next phase of what other passions and hobbies and career, aspirations do I have that I can get into? And for him to be on his Indiana Jones kick, love that for him.
Yeah, very cool stuff. So again, Spectre Sports Cart or sportsart.com. All right, we gave out the grades. We can save the Hall of Fame. There's some really cool Hall of Fame discussion that Jason Stark wrote the other day. We can save that maybe for tomorrow or something. Maybe we'll get into it today, but let's pick up with the World Series. Last night, wowzers. Austin Capabianco became a household name today because the typical scumbag Rat City Yankees fans had to reach over and, it's not assault, but that's assault, brother. You kind of twisted Mookie's arm there. You put your hands on him.
Yeah.
And shame on ESPN. They wrote a story glamorizing this and glorifying. Now I know it's fun to joke that they might have won the Yankees or kept them alive. That's funny and all, but it was also like egregious and over the line to try and pull a ball out of a player's glove. And their reason was, well, he crossed, and you saw the one guy going, "You crossed the line. This is our territory."
No.
And you're reaching in, you're grabbing Mookie by the wrist, you're turning. Like, if he even gets the slightest little injury from that, you're banned from Major League Baseball stadiums for life. He's not allowed back in the stadium for Game 5. Here's a video of the incident from last night. This is Awful Announcing's Twitter account. If you missed it, foul ball down the right field line. Mookie Betts is running over to make a play on it, and Austin Capabianco reaches over, twists his wrist, rips the ball out of the glove, and him and his buddy are like celebrating it. And then they're like, "What? We didn't do anything." Like, dude, there's cameras everywhere, you dumbass. So really weird event. Probably the most egregious fan interference I've ever seen.
This is the angle that really gets you. Like,
yeah, like twist his
what
wrist.
are you doing, buddy? Why are you? First of all, leave Mookie Betts alone. How dare you fight a player and think you're gonna
like, it's outrageous.
Like,
he rips the ball out of his glove.
I cannot even try to figure out how you think that's normal and justified to actually fight a player for a ball. That's like a player.
Yeah, here he is, like doing the rounds in the media, and people are like glamorizing him.
Again, that's the annoying part about the world that we live in, is that people don't take things like this seriously. They look at this as like, oh, that's so cool. No, you're dumb. You're dumb as hell.
And he paid $1,000 for the seats.
Imagine. There are so many times in sports where players and athletes will find themselves, you're leaping into the fans for celebrations, you're diving in the crowd for a loose ball, you're going up for a grab. Like, there are so many times that the fans and the players have that interaction. What makes you think you can actually engage and touch and grab and fight with Mookie Betts for a ball that's live in play? And I don't care if it crossed over. If the player can make that catch, they make that catch.
He had it in his glove.
Like, the player made the catch. Mookie Betts made the catch. You don't go fight him for the ball. It just makes really no sense that this is where we are in 2024. And the sad part is there are people that actually are like, oh, that was so cool. And wow, I would do the same thing. No, that's stupid. And we should not be making this even look okay. I'm glad he got ejected. It's annoying because he is going to be. He's not allowed back in tonight.
TBD, I guess, on further.
Stupid.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mookie and the Dodgers, press. I mean, I don't know where this falls on, like, legally, but somebody is probably going to push for them to press charges.
I mean, he fought him.
Think.
They literally fought.
Well, I mean, fought.
He didn't punch him, but they were wrestling for the ball.
Yeah, he twisted his. I mean, I don't know if you can call that fought, but yes, I mean, fought in terms of a tug of war.
A fight is a physical altercation.
Yeah, like you're fighting with your kid for the toy. I get you.
I mean,
it was ridiculous.
Also, like you said, it could have actually been worse. First of all, you have the guy he's in a higher up position.
Something, man.
He's in a higher position. God. Mookie Betts is jumping up. It's not like he's on flat ground, on 2 feet strong. He's jumping up. He's reaching. He could have fell funny. He could have landed awkwardly. The guy could have, it could have escalated into a bad way. Not to be like a softie over here, but
no,
I think you have to kind of, in these types of moments, set the precedent of this is not okay, because you don't want somebody else thinking, oh, I can go do the same thing and go wrestle with any outfielder for the ball.
Yeah,
no.
Well, at the minimum, he needs to be. Well, both of them need to be banned from every ballpark going forward. And it's crazy.
I would think it happens.
It has to happen. And so, like, if you read the article from Jesse Rogers over at ESPN, like, even hearing them talk, like, they sound like idiots. They go, "It's our area," talking about.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's our area. We're gonna D up. Like, what is this? The playoff of the NBA playoffs? Like, what are you talking about? You're gonna D up.
It's the entitlement for me that you think because you spent thousands of dollars on your ticket. Happy for you have that money that you can spend to have a great seat, but you ruin the opportunity and you look like an idiot and you feel entitled that because that's your seat, you are allowed to fight Mookie Betts for. Again, that's like if a player goes diving into the stands for a loose ball and you think, oh, I can grab on some because they're in my seat. No, you can't do that. In that situation, it's still live. So it makes it, like, to your point, JP, they sound like idiots because I would actually rather than be like, listen, we got caught up in the moment. We were excited. We really wanted the ball. Our bad. I'm sorry. No, they're still trying to justify why they were wrangling with Mookie Betts for a ball.
JP, I'm putting a picture in
crazy
in Slack there when it comes through. I want to screen share because, I mean, it's like straight out of Central Casting, Bronx, New York. The people all around him. His buddies got the sunglasses. Like they couldn't look like Richards if they tried. Austin's got like the quadruple chin going, and he's just like typical Yankee face. And then wait do you see this picture on the guy to their left that wasn't involved with them? I don't know if he's sitting with them. It looks like he's kind of on the other side of the aisle. But this dude, you talk about wearing baseball gloves to a game as a grown adult. This dude's wearing a sliding mitt. He's got the oven mitt on with sunglasses.
Oh my god!
It's a night game, and you're wearing an oven mitt.
Wait, but look at the blonde lady to the right, who's like, I'm not.
Does she even know the foul ball was hit towards her?
That's why I'm like, either she's really, really unaware, or she's like, I'm not getting involved with this. Like, no. Like,
this is beneath
me. I'm not going to be fighting with Mookie Betts for the ball.
There's an oven mitt to a game.
A whole oven mitt. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready.
And sunglasses.
I'm coming in
coming
in for the pan.
There's
no oven.
It's been 21 years since Bartman, if I'm not mistaken.
21 years since Bartman?
Yeah.
This is way worse
This is the complete opposite of Bartman.
Bartman I felt bad for.
Right.
Like, that dude was just trying to catch a foul ball.
Right.
This dude actively went into a Major League player's glove. And
people were talking about that.
I saw the meme. It was like me when I'm trying to wrestle a toy away from my dog. Like, that's what it looked like. It was. I couldn't believe it was happening. I was sitting with Addie, and I was like, are you seeing that? Like, this is crazy.
What makes you think... It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. What makes you think you're going to be fighting with Mookie Betts or any player for the ball in the World Series? This is not even like a spring. Okay, not that it's ever okay, but this is not a spring training game or something. We're talking like World Series, big stage, all eyes on you, all the camera angles.
15 million people in Japan are watching you.
You've got millions and millions of people watching, and you, Joe Schmo, think you're going to be the guy that's going to wrestle with Mookie Betts to the ball. But it's bizarre. It's bizarre to me that people feel entitled to be able to do whatever they want just because of what they paid, and that money is now thrown away money, and you look like an idiot.
What do you guys think? They started drinking at like noon?
That's what people are saying.
My buddy
how
works.
Drunk are
he goes
they?
through the Bronx. He lives in Eastchester, so he takes the train in, and he passed the big Yankee bar across from the stadium. They showed it on TV last night, like Billy's or something.
Yeah,
it might be named after Billy Martin. I'm not sure. But it's a big place, and that's the place where they were caught cheering Ohtani's injury the other game.
Wait, the same guys?
No, the same
bar
I was
that they were at.
And my buddy passed it on the train this morning and said there's already people in Yankees jerseys drinking. So New Yorkers think they're like back. People are like saying these guys saved the year. Yankees fans, it's going to be a scene in the Bronx tonight.
Can I make this?
Selfishly, I would like to see more baseball.
Well, yeah, I've been telling you guys, I would like at least a game 6. But I don't want this to be how we get to a game 6. I will also like to take this opportunity now that we are having this moment to talk about fans being ridiculous and remind people it's not just Philly sports fans that do the most stupid, ludicrous things. And for multiple occasions now, we've seen things that have been similar to this. We saw Braves fans on the field. We saw Ravens and Commanders fans fighting. We saw all
we'll
types
still
of stuff.
hear about Santa Claus from 1963.
Right,
even knows the true
and now
story
the
of
latest offender, the Yankees fan that wants to fight with Mookie Betts for a ball. It's time to get rid of this narrative that it's just Philly sports fans, because I've never seen that at a Phillies game. I don't know about you guys. I've never seen that at an Eagles game or Sixers game or at a Union game or Flyers game where their fans are getting involved.
I think the last thing I could think of, and this is nowhere near what happened last night, but you guys remember the Joel Embiid's first year when he actually played, and against OKC, that fan that gave the old Philly salute, the double Philly salute to Russell Westbrook.
Like, the mayor of Delco?
Yeah. It's like the worst thing I could think of.
Mayor of Easttown in the stands,
He didn't even make contact, though.
We're like tame anymore. I mean, JP, you're a huge soccer fan. I mean,
So
go look at
tame.
Europe, like Philadelphia's like, hey, we're tame compared to European soccer fans.
I mean, dude, the Copa America final this past summer.
Yeah.
They were literally sneaking in tunnels.
Like fires
People
in
were
stadiums.
like fighting. Oh, that's a norm that they like set some fires and explosions in soccer
we're
stadiums.
soft over here.
So soft. So again, like next time you want to come for Philly sports fans, remember Yankees fans are out here. I'm going to use the term fighting. I'm going to call it a fight. You fought Mookie Betts. On cameras. All the cameras.
But in terms of like you
what term are
wrestling
you
your
going to
dog.
use?
Like
what else do you call that?
Interfered with?
I was like, hey, that's lame. We're not gonna dumb this down or water this down. Rassled them. You rassled them.
Yeah, wrestled with him. I wouldn't say full fight.
But you know what? I feel like he's probably saying like, I fought Mookie Betts. Like 30 years down the line, he's gonna be like, I fought Mookie Betts.
I read a quote from him. It was like The Athletic, I guess, got in touch with him, which is funny because my friend was actively texting. He's like, I know these kids. They're from Branford, Connecticut. So my buddy Nate, he grew up in the town next to him, and he's like, he knew the family name right away. I had the name like as soon as it happened because of my buddy. And The Athletic.
The inside scoop.
Yeah, The Athletic. I should have tweeted it out.
You should have.
I probably would have gone actually absolutely viral.
You probably should have.
But The Athletic was reaching out to him. ESPN was reaching out to him, and one of the comments was like, "Hey, I think it was The Athletic. He was like, we're still trying to watch the end of this game. Really crazy, but when the ball like was up for grabs like that, we thought it was ours, and then Mookie was cursing at us. Not good." Like that was the quote, was like, not good. But like they're still trying to watch the game at the bar, and now they're talked about everywhere today. For the wrong reasons.
And they're going to be getting like appearances and interviews, and
they're going to be hanging with the Rizzler out on Queens Boulevard.
No, seriously, watch them. This be like they're like TikTok claim to fame.
This will blow up like Hawk Tua.
Yeah,
it's probably the best $1,000 they've ever spent.
They're probably going to launch a podcast. Yeah, they're going to have all these things. Yeah, watch.
All right, a couple things to talk about before we get out of here, including a Phillies nugget.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Done an emergency pod earlier?
Yeah, no emergency pod for this one. But according to Matt Gelb from The Athletic, get excited, everyone. The Phillies have made a signing. They signed righty reliever Cody Stashak.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Stashak.
Wow.
I'm going to go with. Stashak?
World Series, here we come.
Where the Stashak?
To a minor league deal. He's a South Jersey native, 72 innings in the majors with the Twins between 2019 and 2022. Spent 2024 in AAA in the Giants organization. Phillies will take a look at him in spring training. So get excited, everyone.
Get excited.
But you'll see a bunch of these type of level moves start trickling in.
This is when we got Spencer Turnbull. These were those types of moves. We got a David Dahl, Spencer Turnbull. We got Michael Mercado, all these guys.
Yeah, Michael Mercado, I would say, was like first week of December.
Yeah, we got all of them this quiet time of the year. Stashak, which I like the last name. I'm all for it. Stashak. Where the Stashak? There's a lot of things you can say with it.
Oh, my God.
30
I feel
years
like there's
old.
a lot of nicknames from Stashak.
Stashy, Shacky,
Shaq.
Cody Shacks.
Shaq-a-Maxon.
Yeah, but
do we
30
know
years
where
old.
South Jersey's from?
He was a 13-round pick by the Twins in 2015. Made his debut in 2019. And he hasn't pitched much. But, hey, maybe this is his time to shine. He did have some decent results as
from
bullpen
Summers
arm.
Point. Right down by the shore. Ocean City. Stand up.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, what's that school down? Oh, Oak Crest High School in Mays Landing. You know them? Did you play sports against them?
No, I did not.
Are they a sports powerhouse?
No.
Okay.
Never not.
And then he played community baseball for Cumberland County College.
CCC.
And then he went on to St. John's, helping them to win the 2015 Big East.
There you go.
So good for him. I mean, getting the camp invite from the Phils.
I like it. Hey, I always enjoy when there's another local connect that the Phillies are able to bring in. Bring him back home, Mr. Summers Point. He is someone that is someone to keep an eye on.
He's a
gonna
guy.
Change the season, guys.
He's a guy with an arm. He throws baseballs. He's a Philly now.
The last time he pitched with the Twins in 2022, he pitched 11 games and had a 3.86 ERA. So he pitched with the Twins from 2019 to 2022, and then it's been in the minors. So,
all right, Renee.
We'll see what happens.
How's your arm?
Arm credible.
How hard do you think you can throw? Should we get you on the gun?
I've been working on my Ohtani flexibility.
Okay. What do you think?
You see the guns? The guns are out. Look at the guns.
You think you could reach 55 on a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I'll take your word for it.
55,
well,
60.
you have time to prep because starting in the summer of 2026, after 48 hours after the premiere of See Her, Be Her by Grassroots Baseball, a newly formed women's professional baseball league has announced the launch of a new pro women's baseball league in the U.S., with competition slated to start in the summer of 2026.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great news, man.
Yeah,
I am
pretty cool
thrilled
stuff.
for this. I love the fact that we're getting another women's sport
Will Philly get a franchise?
Yeah. Will Philly get a franchise is the $1 million
WNBA
question.
franchise or a women's pro ball team first?
We have a women's sport launching. When you have the growth of women's sports where they are right now, this is the time. Outside of basketball and soccer.
Thank you, diehards.
Love the fact that we're getting more with now on the side of on the diamond.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And then the last thing before we get out of here, where are my desert dogs at? Yeah, desert dogs, mount up. At 3:40, I think it's 3:40 today. We get Andrew Painter again.
Ooh.
So probably another 2 innings or so of Andrew Painter, maybe 3. But we will fill you in tomorrow on that. But Andrew Painter and the Desert Dogs playing this afternoon.
Time to bring out the paintbrush.
Yeah. Just dump that, JP. We'll just move on like that didn't happen. Live editing on the fly. Just cut. All right, that's going to do it for us here today. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on PHLY Phillies podcast. For JP Zapata, Renee Washington, I am Jamie Lynch. We will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. and we'll see you then.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.